Oh, hell yeah, boys and girls. Thanks for being here for the kickoff of DEGREELESSNESS Season 4, baby. I'm your host, 21st Century Digital Boy, and the People's Champion, Shanghai Pete. I hope you all enjoyed episode 1 of the pod. We've got a lot more where that came from. Sorry it took so long until now to get really back up on the regular video tip, but you all know how it is. Holidays, family stuff, job shit, winter, ugh. But anyways, we're back and we've got a whole bunch of stuff to get deep inside and clear out so we can start fresh next week, so we had better get to it. My, year is off to quite a start, is it not? Yikes. Now, instead of doing a handful of 20-minute videos to please the algo and generate ad revenue, mostly because I can't generate ad revenue, let's get most of the hot topics out of the way just right now instead so we can finally get back to normal next week. First up, we just had to mention the silly consumption morality argument about Hogwarts Legacy. This is absurd on its face. There is no such thing as ethical consumption under capitalism. Everybody knows that, or at least should know that. Do whatever the fuck you want. If you want to play this game, play it. If you don't, don't. The only thing that's really black and white here is whether you should whine about either of those things on the internet. You should not. Oh, and of course that J.K. Rowling fucking sucks. Next up, we've got the Dragon Age 4 gameplay and info leak from a few days ago from some place called Insider Gaming. Sounds reputable. First things first, it's definitely not a multiplayer live service game anymore, if all these reports can be believed, so thank fucking God for that. I think the entire world probably breathed a sigh of relief at that. However, just in case you were beginning to think that maybe this wasn't a BioWare game we were talking about and started to feel the gentle warmth of hope in your chest, let's cruelly shatter that piece right now. The combat is reported to be standard hack and slash action game affair, similar to goddamn Final Fantasy 15. Guys, I must confess, I don't understand this. You can't just keep calling action games RPGs because there's stats involved. Like, part of the appeal of an RPG, at least for me, is engaging in things like party handling and standard Dungeons and Dragons stuff like build crafting and stat management. If I sit down to play an RPG, I do not want to play God of War. There's nothing wrong with God of War, but it's not a fucking RPG. The same way that, I don't know, if I sit down and play a sports game, I don't want to see Super Mario Brothers pop up. I fucking hate this trend, and I do not understand it. If you want to hear me rant more about it and then have Bobby yell at me and tell me why I'm wrong for 2 hours, the next episode of Super Podcast Entertainment System will be up within the next few days. And we spend about 2 hours fighting about RPGs and Final Fantasy. So, if that sounds like fun, make sure to look out for that. Anyways, suffice it to say, it looks like Dragon Age 4 is going to be garbage, just like every other BioWare game since all the talent left. You know it's going to be garbage. I know it's going to be garbage. We all know it's going to be garbage. I mean, sorry to break it to you. If it's not, and it's actually awesome by some miracle, I will be the first one to say it. But yo, it is not looking good. Moving on, looks like there's still many people dragging around the corpse of the E3 is still relevant argument. I love this, mostly because it so obviously is not. What exactly do you call an E3 without Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft? Fucking nothing. That's what you call it. Or you call it an ad, just like everything else. All these companies want your money, so rest assured, you're going to be hearing about their products regardless of whether or not the ESA can bring in a shitload of revenue by forcing everyone into the LA Convention Center in order to hear about it. I do not mourn the death of E3, and neither should you. It's been years since it even halfway resembled the conventions of old that we all grew up with. I've said it many times, and hopefully I won't have to many more times after this. But once again, for the record, fuck E3. Next, let's talk a little bit about the crushed and ruined body of the Halo franchise that people are still crying over. Citing stuff like mass layoffs and a switch to the Unreal Engine, many people seem to think that either 343 is going to totally reboot the IP or possibly outsource it, and even many more seem to think that this would be good. Look, I've talked about it before, specifically in my Halo Infinite review, which you can find here, but this is another thing that I just don't get. I haven't cared about Halo multiplayer probably since we were all playing Xbox Live like 10 years ago, so maybe y'all can explain it to me in the comments, but is it really that bad? Halo has never been incredible in my opinion, but it's definitely always been fun. I always play the campaign in every new Halo game, including Infinite, which I thought was pretty fucking awesome. Am I way off here? Are people mostly just talking about the multiplayer, or what is wrong with Halo right now? What's the problem? Is it just that everyone expects every game to be a live service and constantly updated? Like, I got it. I played through the campaign, cleared the objectives off the map, took, I don't know, 40 hours or so, and that was that. Is that not enough anymore? Like, I got the game, I played it, I beat it. It was fun. What more do you want? They don't charge a subscription fee for it. It's not an always online game. No one expected more stuff added to Halo 2 when that came out. I don't know, I just don't get it. I mean, with the way that 343 and like half the internet are acting, you'd think it was on its deathbed. Is that really the case? Seems weird to me. I don't get it. Is Halo really in that much trouble? Somebody in the comments down below, let me know what the fuck is going on. I want to understand this. Putting aside that mystery for right now and moving on, it seems like the time-honored tradition of people pretending to be shocked and surprised at what a monstrous cannibalistic horror show Activision Blizzard is still going strong. Awesome. Were they not clear enough when their sexually depraved internal corporate culture pushed a woman to kill herself? The mass walkouts and nauseating litany of crimes revealed in encyclopedic lawsuits didn't tip you off? Like, what is even happening? Yeah, guys, Blizzard fucking sucks. And though Brian Birmingham being pushed out is heartbreaking, like, if you still had a heart left for Blizzard to break at this point, you haven't really been paying attention. Especially for me, because he was the WoW Classic lead, and I love me some WoW fucking Classic. Blizzard strikes again, boys. Fantastic. And lastly, just a bit of catch up on EA doing incredibly normal EA things, like canceling games people would have liked. Yep, the wait for a new Titanfall or Titanfall adjacent universe game that wasn't the apocalyptic hellscape containing the absolute worst parts of internet culture called Apex Legends was about to be over. Looks like the adventures of BT were set to continue in a single player campaign until EA decided to get all fucking EA about it and canceled the dick out of it. Great work, EA. I'm sure there was nobody excited about playing that. I mean, is anyone even still playing Titanfall 2? Oh, wait. Yeah. In my opinion, I think y'all know there's only one real explanation why this was canceled, and that's fucking money. And with the amount of it that Apex is already earning, I think it's safe to say that they probably just didn't want to do or release anything that might potentially fuck up an easy revenue stream like that. I shouldn't need to explain why this is a goddamn tragedy, but I suppose we shouldn't really be surprised by it either. After all, Titanfall 2 did flop, though due largely in part to EA's utter incompetence because they released it directly in between Call of Duty and Battlefield. Just brilliant work there, guys. But as we know, they can't be bothered to give a fuck about anything that's not already earning them piles of easy, almost effortless money. So, strap in everyone, it's nothing but Apex Legends from here on out. Well, the Dead Space remake was actually pretty good, so I guess it's not all that bad. All right, that's our show and the beginning of DEGREELESSNESS Season 4. Thanks so much for chilling, spending this little bit of your free time with us tonight. We love you today. We love you all the way. Look out for Episode 2 of the Super Podcast Entertainment System dropping this weekend, where Uptown Bobby and I fight about Final Fantasy and all things RPG and turn-based. And then it's back to your regularly scheduled DEGREELESSNESS coverage of the never-ending horror show that we call the gaming industry, or what remains of our beloved hobby.
Woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out, woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down, back down, what, yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out, pass out, woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt,